Hi, welcome to day 4. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at movements that we do in everyday life, such as squatting every time we sit down, walking movements and lifting things. So if we're lifting shopping or children or whatever it might be. So let's just start by bringing our feet hip distance apart, so just directly underneath the hip bones. Start to lengthen up through the spine. I want you to draw the crown of the head to the ceiling and just allow the shoulders to start to soften down. And as we're doing that, I want you to think about just softening the breastbone and the rib cage down, gently pulling the tummy button to your spine. And then we're going to just lengthen the tailbone down towards the mat. Starting to feel that abdominal connection there. That's super. And all I want you to do now is just to draw the thumbs down your side seams, open through the front of the shoulders and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Really feeling the muscles between the shoulder blades engaging there. A little stretch in the front of the shoulders and release. Let's lengthen those thumbs down and squeeze those shoulder blades together. And as you do this, can you be aware that you're not allowing your breastbone to lift and your back to hollow out? So we're just going to lengthen those thumbs down, open, squeeze, release. Keep pulling that tummy to spine. Again, lengthen the thumbs down so you're getting a lovely stretch into the side of the neck. And squeeze and release. We're going to keep the shoulders gently rolled back and down. And I just want you to float one arm up to shoulder height and then float it back down again. And then float the other arm up and float it back down. Now, I want you to imagine that your thumb is attached to a helium balloon. And this helium balloon is just allowing the arm to float up and float back down. So I want the arm to feel weightless. That means you're going to have to use your muscles in your back and your shoulder girdle. So I want you to feel like you're really drawing that shoulder blade down the back, keeping the shoulders away from the ears as you float the arm up. Good. We're keeping the body really still, keeping the ribs softened down, the breastbone softened down, tummy gently drawn back towards the spine. Let's just take both arms up. See if you can notice the difference. Keep the ribs softened down, tummy to spine, and then release back down again. Inhale, just taking the arms up, and exhale, back down again. As you're doing this, can you just notice where your head is placed, just making sure that the chin's not poking forward? Can you make sure those shoulders are staying down, the ribs are down? Can you notice how your weight is feeling? Is it equally balanced between your heels and your toes? Are your knees locked out or are they just softened? We want them softened. Good. Let's just do 2 more. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, float the arms back down. 1 more. Inhale, float the arms up. And exhale and float the arms back down again. Fantastic. We're going to now just take 1 foot in front of the other. So we're going to just work a little bit on balance. Obviously, balance is very important for everyday life. So I want you to just see if you can get as narrow a stance as possible with your feet. Okay, and then I want you to make sure your weight is balanced between the front foot and the back foot. We're going to then wrap the back of the thighs together. So squeeze the back of the thighs together, make sure the knees are softened, tailbone is lengthened down and tummy drawn back towards your spine. You're going to bring the arms up in front. That's lovely. And all I want you to do now is take one arm out to the side, but can you follow it with your head and your eyes? And then bring the arm back into center and take the other one round. Now, what I want you to notice is that the rib cage is gliding around. We're not just taking the arm out. I want you to follow it around and allow the rib cage to glide around as well. Keep pulling the tummy to spine. You should be starting to feel your back muscles working to pull you around. Can you notice that you're having to engage your abdominal muscles as well? Keep pulling them to get back to the spine, the tummy back to the spine, ribs are down. Let's do 1 more on either side, keeping that weight balance between the front foot and the back foot. And let's bring it back into center. Remember, whatever we do on one side, we've got to do on the other side. So we're going to bring the other foot in front. Again, keeping that weight nicely balanced between the front foot and the back foot, knees softened. Draw the back of the thighs together, lengthening up through the spine, tailbone down, ribs down, tummy to spine. Follow the thumb with your head and your eyes, bringing it back into center, allowing the rib cage to glide around. Good. Keeping beautifully upright. So that crown of the head being drawn up to the ceiling. Make sure the chin's not poking forward. Really good for your posture. Really good for getting this mobility into the spine and challenging your balance at the same time. Excellent. Let's do one more on either side. Good. Fantastic. And we're going to bring it back into center. Just have a little bit of a shake out there. Now, from here, we're going to come into foot pedals. So I want you to keep those feet underneath the hips. Everything else is the same. The tailbone lengthened down, crown of the head to the ceiling, chin gently drawn back as if it's sitting on a shelf, feeling the muscles in the back of the neck activate, shoulders relax down. Keep the pelvis still as you lift one heel and then lower it back down. And then keeping that pelvis still, you're going to lift the other heel and lower back down again. So you're going to have to engage your glute muscles here to keep the pelvis as stable as possible. You're pulling the tummy button back towards your spine, feeling that little pull of the pubic bone up to your tummy button and the hip bones gently pulled up to the rib cage. Now, we're going to make sure that we're not shifting the weight side to side, and we're going to make sure that we're not allowing the hips to hitch as well. So we're using these core muscles, the glutes and the abdominals, to stabilize the pelvis there. That's good. Once you feel okay with this, then you can progress it on to your foot pedals. Okay, so we lift the heels, lower one, lift it back up, lower the other one. Again, we're looking to make sure we can keep the pelvis as stable as possible. Okay, so no hitching of the hips. All right, you'll notice that the lower back then starts to move too if the hips are moving. So we want to keep the lower back beautifully strong and supported with the muscles all around it. Good, glute muscles are so important for helping to maintain good back health here. Now, once you feel you've got to grips with that, you can start to add your arms in. So we take opposite arm to leg. Okay, this is basically a sort of a variation of how we walk. Okay, not quite like this, but opposite arm and leg. That's how the body is designed to move. All right, so we're going to keep beautifully upright. So I want you to feel the crown of the head being pulled up the ceiling. Those ribs soften down, tummy to spine, glutes are on, the shoulders are down. Remember those arm floats we did at the beginning? Just allowing those arms to float up. Fantastic. Good. And then try slowing it down. This, where you're going to challenge your balance that little bit more. Keep those core muscles working. Fantastic. And just check that you're not holding your breath. All right, let's then just bring it back down into center. Beautiful. Have a little bit of a shake out. Now I'm going to turn sideways because we're going to come into squats. We're going to start off with a hip hinge. So I want you to take your feet so they're sitting shoulder width apart, just underneath your shoulders. I want you to keep your spine nice and long, and all I want you to do now is send your hips back. Okay, so if you were sending your hips back to sit on a chair and then come back up again. So literally hinging back from the hips and back up. When you hinge back, I want you to make sure that your back doesn't hollow out. We're keeping that spine in neutral. So it's a hinge back and up. What you'll notice I'm not doing is just taking my body forward. I'm literally sending the hips all the way back. So the weight is transferring into my heels here and back up again. Let's go again. So these hip hinges are a really good thing to practice before we come into a full lunge. So let's try that now. So we're going to hinge back and then we're going to lower our bottom down, keeping the spine in neutral. You'll feel the weight through the heels. I want you to absolutely focus on sending the weight from your bottom down into your heels. So really focus on pressing into your heels and bring yourself back up again. So there's a few things that we need to watch when we're squatting. Okay, 1, we want to make sure the head's not tilting back, so not like this. 2, We want to make sure that the back's not hollowing out. We're not letting the abdominal muscles extend. So we're keeping those abdominal muscles shortened. We send the hips back so the weight is coming into the heels, because if the weight is coming into the toes, we are overusing the knee joints, okay? Putting a lot of weight into our thighs, our quad muscles. Our glutes are huge muscles, okay? And they're designed to work, all right? So with powerful glutes, you'll feel stronger when you're walking. As I mentioned before, strong glutes are really important for a healthy back. All right, so let's take the arms up again, floating those arms up, really aware that we're pulling the tummy button back towards the spine as we're doing this, keeping that length through the neck. Can you make sure that your shoulders are not lifting up to your ears? There's actually quite a lot to think about. So next time you're sitting into a chair, think about trying to hinge back and lower yourself down into that chair nice and slowly, and then think about how you come up from that chair. You're not going to press into the arms to bring yourself up. I want you to make sure you're drawing that tummy to spine, and you start to press through the heels as you hinge forward and bring yourself back up again. That's great. Now the other thing I just want you to check, and I've turned to look at you now, so that I want you to notice where your knees are. So your knees should be tracking in line with your second toes. What we don't want are the knees coming in. Again, we're going to put too much pressure into the knee joints there. So we're looking for this really lovely alignment, keeping the weight beautifully balanced between the left foot and the right foot, working those glutes. Okay, we're going to go 4 and 3. Good. Let's go 2. All right, we're going to hold it down here now, and you can rest your hands. I want you to do the tiniest little pulses, thinking about pulsing not into your knees, but from your glute muscles into your heels. Keep the tummy to spine. Fantastic. Let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and press up through those heels and bring yourself all the way back up again. Have a little bit of a shake out there. Excellent. So we're going to come into a lunge position now. So the beautiful thing about a lunge is you have to work the leg that's served forward. So I want you to take a nice step forward with one foot and bring the other leg back. Now, again, we're keeping the knee over that front heel. This is really important. Again, we want to make sure we look after our knees. The toes and the knees align, so the back foot must not be turned out to the side, okay? We're going to have the back toes aligned with the knee. I want you to stay nice and upright, and remember you can always have something just nearby, a chair or a table or something, if you don't feel too stable here. But I want you to lower your back knee down just as low as you feel you can, keeping the knee over that front heel, pressing into the front heel. Can you see I can lift my toes? And then press up through that front heel to return. Okay, let's take it down. Press through that front heel and come back up again. If you want, you can add the arms in as well. Keep that length through the neck. Keep the tummy to spine. Press through that front heel. Fantastic. Keep those shoulders down, remember. Lovely. Woo. Good. We should be feeling those glutes, those quads working here. All right, let's go 5 more. And 4. Good, for 3 and 2. Good, I love my pulses. We're going to hold it down here. Have a break if you need to, but we're going to pulse into that front heel if you can. That's it, tiniest little pulses from the glute muscles into that heel. And let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and press all the way back up again. Step forward, have a little bit of a shake out there. Let's take the other foot forward. Okay, so again, knees, toes align. You do need a big step here, actually. If it's too small a step, it's going to be really hard to keep that heel down. Okay, so toes and knees aligned. Front knee over the heel. We're lowering that back knee down. Just go as far as you feel comfortable. Press up through that front heel. Good. Shoulders stay down. Let's make sure we breathe as well. Inhale, exhale. Good. Keep that tummy to spine, keeping as upright as you can. Remember that front knee is just staying over the heel. Good. Lovely. You can always build up to these, remember. That's it. Can you really feel that the leading leg, the glutes really working on that leg? Let's do 5 and 4 for 3 and 2. And because we did the pulses on the other side, or if you did do them, carry on, let's do them again. If you didn't, have a little break. That's good. We're really pressing into that front heel. You should feel those glutes firing on that front heel, on that front leg. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and press all the way back up. Have a little bit of a shake out there. Fantastic. Oh, beautiful. So we're going to just bring ourselves down onto the mat. And I'm getting you to do this because I want you to see you can use this lunge technique to come down. So you lower that back knee down, you're pressing through that front heel to come all the way down, and then just lower the back knee. We're going to bring ourselves into a plank position now. So we're just going to walk the hands out, okay? Keeping the hands underneath the shoulders. You can come onto your forearms if you would prefer, or you can come into a kneeling plank. And I'll come into that. So we're going to tuck the toes under and push the heels back. So what we want to do is make sure we're lifting the breastbone away from the mat, pressing the back of the head to the ceiling, shoulders stay away from the ears, and tummy button drawn to spine. Now we're going to engage the glutes and draw the back of the thighs in. You might be thinking, we don't do this every day, but the beautiful thing about the plank is it's strengthening so many major muscle groups here. It's just the most wonderful thing to do. Plus it's bone loading. So you're actually strengthening up your wrists at the same time if you're doing it in this position here. As I mentioned, you could do a kneeling plank, in which case you're going to come down, resting on your forearms. They're going to be elbows under the shoulders, still shoulders away from the ears, tummy to spine. We're going to just bend the knees. And then just lift the hips off the mat. Okay, so we're not sending the bottom up here. We want to just have this length through the spine, pulling that tummy to spine, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. So you can start here and then you can move up to a full plank. If you want to make this a little bit more challenging, go into a pelvic tilt. So tucking that tailbone under and then back into neutral. Tuck under. Woo, that's really tough. And back into neutral. Fantastic. And remember, the thing about a plank is you can build it up. So you might just start at wherever you're at now, whether that's 5 seconds or 50 seconds, it doesn't matter. And just start building it up. You will notice that your whole body will strengthen up doing it. Okay, we're going to take the knees down. We're going to press back, come into a child's pose and just relax the shoulders down, relax the back down. That's it, nice deep breaths there. And then when you're ready, we're just going to cross the ankles, bring ourselves back down. All right, bring yourself down, and we're going to do a little stretch for the glutes and the piriformis muscle that sits across. So we're going to take the left foot across the right thigh, and that might be enough for you at this point, just feeling that stretch into the hip. If it's not, see, can you take hold of the back of your right thigh? Now, if it's difficult for you to reach this thigh, what I want you to do is make sure you've got a towel or a scarf or a band or one of those resistance bands. You can loop it around and hug it in, because I want you to make sure that you're not tensing your neck and your shoulders. I want you to keep them relaxed down. But this is a really lovely stretch into this hip area here. We're going to take a breath in. As we exhale, just see if we can deepen that stretch. So you're pressing that left knee away, drawing the foot in towards you. And then release. Let's do the other side. So right foot comes over the left thigh, hug that left thigh in. Remember, you can keep the foot on the floor if that feels like you're getting enough stretch there. You might want to use your band again, looping it around the thigh. Just relaxing into the neck and the shoulders. And then take a breath in, and as you exhale, just see if you can deepen that stretch. and then release it back down. So let's bring ourselves up, either roll onto your side or gently roll up. And we're going to just do a little stretch here. So I want you to walk 1 foot forward and just lunge forward. Now this knee is over the heel, okay? Again, I don't want it so that you're having to lift your heel off the floor. We want to keep that heel down and really open up this back hip. As you're doing this, can you tuck your tailbone under? Don't let the back hollow out. So we're tucking up the tailbone under, really getting that stretch into the front of the hip and the thigh there. That's good. Okay. And then just push back, flex the front foot. I want you to line your body up with this outstretched leg and hinge forward from the hip here. Don't round the back. So I want you to keep nice and long through the spine. Feel that stretch into the back of the leg there. Good. And then release. Let's do the other side. So just walking that foot forward, lunging into it. Remember, we don't want to hollow the back out. We're tucking that tailbone under. That's it, getting that stretch into the front of the hip, into the thigh there. Lovely. And then we're going to press back onto that back knee, flexing that front foot. Line your body up with that extended leg, hinge forward. So you're leading with the breastbone. Imagine that string pulling the breastbone down towards your toes. And release. We'll bring ourselves up so you can just step back with this foot. Make sure the heel is underneath your knee, tucking the back toes under. Deep breath in. As you exhale, pressing from the glute into that heel and come all the way back up again. Well done. Just roll those shoulders. Fabulous. And you're done. Well done. And I look forward to seeing you for day 5. Okay.